Even if Bitcoin makes sense to you as an investor, a Bitcoin IRA probably isn't a good way to invest your retirement money. From the Motley Fool, an article titled, "Should You Invest in a Bitcoin IRA?" So nothing against the author, I did find helpful information, but a quick article on a complex topic like this is unhelpful for me and probably others to make a better informed decision. Should I invest in a Bitcoin IRA? I couldn't find the information that needed, and you probably watching this video couldn't find much either. They either go too broad, they don't go into detail, and they're missing a lot of things. So what this is going to be a series of videos answering different questions, diving into the nitty-gritty, deep analysis of, does a crypto IRA, does a Bitcoin IRA make sense for you and your situation? I did code a tool and do a very thorough, deep analysis to get insights and compare my 401k to a Bitcoin IRA and diverting money. I'll get to that into the next video, so subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet so you can be notified when that comes out. But there are 9 crucial questions to answer before knowing if a Bitcoin IRA, crypto IRA, was right for me, and these are going to be questions that you're going to be asking yourself. Disclaimer though, I'm not a financial advisor, so what I'm going to cover in this video is my financial opinion. This should not be taken as financial advice and should be used for educational and informational purposes only. First question to ask yourself: 1, do I know what a Bitcoin or crypto IRA is? It's basically a retirement account that allows you to hold and trade Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies using after-tax money, whereas a 401k is pre-tax money and taxes are taken out when you withdraw from your 401k at retirement. Typically, these are the typical ways you differentiate. You don't pay taxes on the capital gains. As of this recording, selling, swapping, spending cryptocurrencies create a taxable event in the US. Depending on your tax bracket, how long you've held the crypto, you'll either be taxed on short-term capital gains tax, owing shorter than a year, or tax on long-term capital gains tax, which is going to be short-term capital gains tax will depend on your bracket. The IRS has stated that here are the tax brackets for 2021 for the taxes that are going to be due April 15th, 2022 in the US. Because as you can see here, because I make over a 6-figure income, I'm inside the 24% tax bracket. But remember, any additional income gained, especially if you have significant crypto earnings, can push you into another tax bracket, meaning you'll get taxed higher. If I held that longer though, the longer term capital gains tax income thresholds, you can see vary from 0, 15%, 20%, depending on your taxable income. Earnings from a Bitcoin and crypto IRA are essentially a Roth IRA and do not count towards income. Here you can see from Investopedia, from this article, do earnings from a Roth IRA count towards income? Withdrawals or earnings from a Roth IRA don't count as income. So if you follow the IRS rules, your earnings can grow tax-free. You don't pay tax on withdrawals later, which are the main benefits of this retirement account. So the key takeaways that they mentioned in this article is doesn't count as income as long as they're qualified, which means it's typically have to be at least 59 and a half years old, and that account has to be at least 5 years old for it to count. There are exceptions, emergencies, and other things. If something were to happen, then you can look in those options. Number 2, do I believe I'll live long enough to enjoy retirement? Penalty-free IRA withdrawals occur after the age of 59 and a half. Here's an article from Business Insider. This is when you're going to die. You can see that based on this life expectancy data, that if you're age 20 to 50 years old, you at least have a 90% chance to reach the age of 60. Number 3, do you believe in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies for the long term? Bitcoin is the fastest growing asset over the last decade. The data has shown this. This was one of the things that came out, and here's an article from Yahoo Finance. The data compiled was from the CEO of Compound Capital Advisors, where they analyzed the 17 best performing asset classes since 2001. The article states that Bitcoin cumulative gains have exceeded, and this is not a typo, since 2011, Bitcoin's cumulative gains have exceeded 20 million%, far outpacing the cumulative gains of the NASDAQ 100. The NASDAQ 100 was the second best performing, but Bitcoin was in first place, 10x higher. These findings are a little bit older and were based on December 16 of last year of 2020, but that was when Bitcoin was in the $21,000 range. And while we've had a 50% correction or crash, if you're more pessimistic, from about 65,000 to about 28,000 at its lowest point in the last few months, Bitcoin now has just broken above 40,000, and still that number, even when it crashed to 28,000, is still higher than the 21,000 when that analysis was done. You can see the returns from every major asset class over the last 10 years. Link is in the description below if you want to dig into it deeper. 4. Do I have my main personal finance areas handled? So first, does my job offer a 401k? And do they offer a 401k match? Am I investing 100% into that 401k to get that match? Because if you're not, you're missing out on free money. Next one is, do I have credit card debt? Pay off your credit card debt and also any high interest debt. What I like to consider high interest rate debt is anything that's higher than what your money could earn if you invested it or if you saved it. Here are the average financial rates of return. S&P 500, 10% return on investment. 401k, about 9.5%. And then you can see savings, CDs, money market account interest rates are typically below 1%, with a few outliers above 1%, which is crazy. Next, do I have money inside an emergency fund? How big should my emergency fund? So they recommend having a starting emergency fund of 1,000 first. Then when you're out of debt, save about 3 to 6 months of expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. 5. Can I stomach the volatility where I potentially see massive swings of 80 to 90% in a bear market? See this article from CNBC? Bitcoin is down 80% from last year's high, nearing its worst ever bear market. You're going to see articles like this, negative sentiment, negative emotions, people complaining. Can you handle all of that pressure and just be a long-term investor? As a person who's been active Bitcoin trading, swing trading during the 2018 bear market and was profitable, I grew my investment from an initial $3,000 to around $11,000. But for this recent bull market, 20 to 2021, I got cocky, I got overconfident, and then I went away from my initial investment strategy. And then I started to experiment in high risk, high reward cryptocurrencies, microcaps, newly released token events. And it was exciting, and I was making, keyword was making, good money. But then when that massive crash happened from 65,000 to 28K, it's barely touching 40,000, but those few months in between was depressing, stressful price action. And even though Bitcoin may have crashed over 50%, my higher crypto investments crashed upwards of 90%. And what this taught me was my risk tolerance is moderate. I still believe in Bitcoin and all the other large caps, but seeing a 90% loss in projects that I don't believe in strongly, that's a tough pill to swallow. So you want to ask yourself, can you handle the massive potential swings that will inevitably happen till you go to retirement? Because I can guarantee there'll be massive volatile swings. 6, do I have other sources for retirement? I can't predict the future. So what you do is you diversify your retirement account. So you lower the risk and impact that a single investment or investment area has if you're wrong. And the income that I'm allocating to my crypto IRA is only about 40% of my income that goes towards retirement. A majority of it still goes to my 401k to get the match and to have it as a longer term steady strategy. 7, do I need this money in the immediate future before I retire? One guideline that I follow is I don't invest money in long-term investments if I need that money to survive, or if I need that money for big purchases like a house or a wedding that are coming up. I only invest what I can lose. So do you need that money? 8, what is the opportunity cost of using this money inside a Bitcoin IRA? Is this the best use of my money? Let's look at 3 scenarios. There's a bullish case, a conservative case, worst case. So compare this to a Bitcoin crypto IRA, and then what is your next best option? Are you comfortable with risking the worst case scenario to likely return a mediocre case with the possibility of the best case? So I did the math, and I'll be covering the math and the deeper analysis and the tool that I coded and all the different formulas. Subscribe to the channel to get notified when that video comes out next. You can just even do some basic analysis just to get an idea of what is my next best investment opportunity and what are my beliefs and what would I estimate gaining based on investing there and investing in here, and then you'll get a better idea. And last, this is probably one of the main questions that everybody thinks about, is are the tax benefits of a Bitcoin / crypto IRA worth the cost? Here's a screenshot from iTrustCapital. Tax-free trades, buy and sell as often as you want without creating a taxable event. No tracking, no taxable events means no complex tracking needed. Compounding gains, realized gains rolled over year over year within the account. Sorry, IRS, not sorry. Tax advantage growth, deferred or tax-free distributions depending on the type of IRA. There's a cliche saying, it's not what you make, but it's what you keep. You need to know what your expenses are going to be and what the costs are. I'm going to use iTrustCapital as an example because they have lower fees than most Bitcoin / crypto IRAs. Spoiler, this is the company that I'm currently using. Use a link in the description below if you want more information. And the reason why I went with iTrustCapital is based on a lot of people's reviews and because they don't have hidden fees like other Bitcoin / crypto IRA companies have when reading the reviews. And then they also have excellent customer service, and their home office is down the street, literally down the street in Irvine from my day job's office. So if I ever had an issue or a problem, I could just go over and talk to them. So they have transparent pricing, 1% crypto trade fee, and then they have $29.95 as their month account fee. So this is one of the things that scares people away, is like, oh, I gotta pay all of this money over the years and I'm losing money on the transaction fee or the account fee. And on top of that, there is a bank wire fee, or you can send them a physical check at no expense as well. So you have a $25 bank fee for every time that you need to deposit money inside there. Or what I'm doing currently is I'm transferring 3 times a year, which limits my bank transfer fee to $75. On the bright side, I reached out to the team as I was creating this video to see if they're going to implement an ACH and direct deposits. This is why you see with exchanges, brokerages, Binance, Voyager, for example, there's no fee for depositing money. So here is a screenshot from Daniel from iTrustCapital, and he says, yes, late Q4 will be releasing a platform upgrade which will include ACH payments so that clients can link up a bank account for direct payment. Along with these features, there's going to be stop losses, limit orders are going to be added, along with staking and lending to follow. A lot more coming. We'll make announcements once everything goes live. One of the cons of iTrustCapital and Bitcoin IRAs is that they don't have staking. Simply put, you gain interest for just having it there, and that interest can be upwards of 12% or higher depending on the cryptocurrency. Like Polkadot, for example, has 12% interest on Voyager right now, which is one of the highest returning interest rates on Voyager. You get to earn and compound gains on that cryptocurrency. On Voyager as well, they have 5.7% on Bitcoin. If you want 25 free Bitcoin when you sign up and trade $100 in the app, use my link in the description below, and then we'll both get free $25 in Bitcoin. It's actually my favorite platform. Everything aside, I love the team and I love what they've been doing, and their growth is absurd and phenomenal. But this was the major opportunity and downside that I originally had when I was about to create this video, and then I reached out to them, was that you could keep and stake your crypto on another platform and compound a higher interest rate. So this was a part that I was going to be putting into the opportunity cost. But the fact that this is coming, we'll see what the interest rates are going to be, what the overall impact is. So I'm going to have to change my analysis, but this is great news. For now, here are the total annual expenses: $359.40 total account fees every year, 75 total bank wire fees, and then a 1% trading fee. So I'm 36. I plan to sell Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies inside my IRA when I retire at 60. That's about 24 years. Let's use 25 years. That's where I started my crypto IRA at 35. But with 25 years of expenses, that's about 14,610. Estimated Bitcoin accumulated will probably be around 0.5882. And I personally believe Bitcoin will be around the 300,000 plus range when I retire. But using the numbers from my forecast, on the conservative side, it came out to be about 268,262 and 83 cents. My conservative forecast, having my crypto Bitcoin IRA versus the next best option in this case is going to be just having it on a Bitcoin exchange and then seeing if the taxes make sense. It still looks like the Bitcoin exchange or the brokerage will have a high overall return by $6,000, give or take. The reason why I'm still taking the chance on a Bitcoin crypto IRA because of the added staking interest rates and the higher risk to reward, because I believe Bitcoin will do better than a 20% return. That they're close enough that I'm willing to take that chance to risk this much for the reward of it potentially going even higher. I don't recommend you to actively trade within your IRA or retirement accounts unless you know what I'm doing. But I've been a profitable day trader, swing trader, so I plan to make more trades. Based on my skill, I believe that I can make up that difference or even more and take advantage of all the tax gains to be able to make use of the tax IRA advantages. But even if I went with just the investment strategy by itself, I'd still be able to take advantage of that. This simple analysis plus my deeper analysis, be my money in my 401k versus reallocating my income to a crypto IRA, I still decided to choose a Bitcoin IRA. Going over all these questions, you just want to check, does this make sense for my situation? Because of all my answers, I decided to invest within a crypto IRA with iTrustCapital. I'll do a review and a full comparison video in the future, but if you want more information, click the link in the description below, look at their information, and make a decision to see if that makes sense for you. Also, one bonus question that I answered for myself that made me realize that, okay, I'm going to take this leap is number 10. What if there's a chance that one of these venture capitalists like Chamath, like Anthony Pompliano, will be right about their price predictions of $1 million plus within the next 20 plus years for Bitcoin? I believe there's a small chance, so that investing a small amount in my investment portfolio. But if this does go wrong, I'm not gonna give. I just won't have as much money, but I'll still be able to live a comfortable retirement. The question you want to ask yourself is, what do you believe? And what are you willing to place or diversify to back up that belief? Dig, do more research, but think about that. Take care. We'll talk soon and watch the next video.